Okay, welcome to the Meet the Students session tonight. Thank you, participants, for joining us for that session. We are going to have some students talk to us about their experiences within their courses. My name is Claire McCafferty and I'm the Director of Academic Programmes at the Institute of Continuing Education at the University of Cambridge. And I'm delighted to be able to introduce some of our students who are currently studying with us on our medical programmes. And so I'll pass over first of all to Sam, please, if you could introduce yourself and the course that you're studying.
Hi, so my name's Sam Jerram. I'm a practicing doctor at Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, and I'm studying on the postgraduate certificate in medical education.
Thank you. And if I can pass now to Agatha, please.
Hi, I'm Agatha. As already was mentioned, kindly thank you. I am a clinical teaching fellow in one of the district general hospitals. I am based in surgery, and I am currently studying at the postgraduate certificate for clinical research.
Thank you very much. And Megan, if I can pass you to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Megan, and I am currently studying the undergraduate certificate in pre-medical studies.
Thank you. And Yolandi, if you could also introduce yourself and the course that you're studying. Oh, I think we've lost Yolandi. The wonders of technology. Okay, thank you very much. So what I would ask the participants to do, please, if you can pop any questions into the Q&A as we work through this session. But I do have some questions that I will ask our students as we go through as well. But anything pressing that comes up, please pop it in the Q&A and I'll direct it. If you want to ask a specific question to a specific student on a course, please make that clear in the Q&A. So first of all, I'd like to know if the course that you're studying has met your expectations so far. And I'll start with the first person that I can see on my screen. If I can ask Megan, please.
So I think it's like yes and no, in kind of like a good way, in a sense that it's been a lot. I think it's a very intensive course, the pre-medical studies. There's a lot of work, a lot of kind of reading, case studies, lectures. It's a lot, but that's a good thing. Like, it's great. It's an amazing learning experience. And I think the kind of level of teaching has kind of met my expectations. We've been able to kind of meet and talk to so many amazing doctors and scientists. It's been great. And I think for me personally, in terms of expectations, so I'm 21, so I'm the baby of my class, right at the cusp of being a mature student, and I kind of expected coming into this I was going to feel really like isolated and it was going to be really hard to get on with people, but no, despite the fact there's kind of a bit of an age gap in my class, it's been great and I've made some really nice friends, and I think the person I'm closest with in my class is actually twice my age, more than twice my age. So yeah, it's kind of a different group of people to those that you'd normally meet, or I would meet in a different circumstance, and it went a lot better than I was expecting it to.
Excellent, thank you. I'm really pleased to hear that. And just so that it's clear, the course that you're studying, Megan, you're doing the undergraduate pre-medical course, aren't you, to hopefully then move on to a degree in medicine. Is that right? So you're kind of in the start of your journey, whereas we have some other students here who are already within careers and things. So it's good that we've got such a good mix of undergraduate and postgraduate experiences to hear from tonight. Thank you. So Sam, if I could ask you the same question, has the course met your expectations so far?
Yes, it has. Can I just check, is my background the right way around?
It is, yeah.
It is, it's just only for me. Perfect, okay. Yeah, no, it really has. So I'm doing the postgraduate certificate in medical education, like I said, so that's part-time alongside my full-time job. And I looked at quite a lot of courses before I did this one. And Similar to Megan, it's intense, and it's more intense than postgraduate, this equivalent postgraduate certificates organised by other universities. But I mean, that's not unexpected given that it's Cambridge. But I've been really impressed with the quality of the teaching and the level of detail it goes into, but also the way the course is structured and the opportunities there are for mixing and meeting other people who've got similar interests and career development that I have. So I found it very good academically, and in terms of learning, I've learned a lot, which has been relevant. And I've also found it very useful professionally for forming links with people, which I'm sure will be useful in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, I think across all disciplines, when you are a professional and you come to study, the networking opportunities are also a really important aspect of the study and of the course. So it's great to hear that you've been able to do that, Sam. And Agatha, if you could also just answer for me of the course that you're studying, which is the Clinical Research, Education and Leadership postgraduate, isn't it? If you could just let me know about your expectations. Have they been met, exceeded? How has it gone so far?
Yes, I think that the course was a little bit different than I expected, but also in a good way. Obviously, it is a course that is designed for people in full-time jobs, and it is an excellent opportunity to meet a few times a year with the group of students. Just having had my research module not long ago, it was great to meet all the people that we met at the beginning of the course, and we also come from very different backgrounds and from their very different roles, but we've got a good mix of people. So all the networking is also happening, and we are learning so much from each other. It is intense, but I think that it is good because it is kind of designed that way. So we meet for that intense period of learning. Then we can a little bit more.
Oh, I think we've lost Agatha. I wasn't sure if it was me, but I think maybe she's having
wind down and relax a lot going on throughout the year, which is also hard. So amazing tutors, what they do, and it is contagious.
Excellent, thank you. So if I can then ask why each of you maybe decided to study at the Institute of Continuing Education. And if I can start with Sam this time, please.
So mainly for the course and also for the location. So I work in Cambridge, so it's much easier this way. But that's not true of all the participants by any means. A lot of people on my course travel in, and I think like Agatha said, that it's quite short bursts of quite intensive learning lends itself to that model. But I like the idea of having a physical base where we could go for our teaching rather than some of the completely online courses. And that's certainly one of the aspects of the course I found the most rewarding.
Thank you. And Megan, for yourself, why did you choose Institute of Continuing Education to do your pre-medical qualification?
I think there's kind of two reasons. The first is that it's online. I'd been out of education for 3 years, kind of coming out of A-levels, and wanted to go to university, but I was kind of in a position where I thought I needed something to bridge that gap between going for a few years without to doing something like a medical degree. And the second is that I didn't quite meet the A-level grades I needed to study medicine. Missed out by 1 grade in chemistry, unfortunately. But with this, meant I can like pick that up and boost my application, which I did. I've applied this year, and I've actually got an offer from Cambridge to study medicine in October.
Fantastic!
So,
congratulations.
Yeah, it worked out very well.
Excellent. That's a really good news, actually. So that's fabulous. Well done. Thanks, Megan. And I guess some of our courses do have a pathway, and you've answered that question already, Megan, that you've come to us at the Institute of Continuing Education to do that pre-medical course, and now the pathway for you is to get into a degree in medicine at Cambridge, and you're on the path to do that. That's great. from the postgraduate perspective, Sam, is there a kind of pathway planned out for the qualification that you're studying, or maybe on the other postgraduate? Is there like a certificate and a diploma? Does it work like that at all?
Yes, I mean it's not quite so vocational as Megan's is, in the sense that some people do it never quite for interest, but sort of for academic purposes. But there's a choice you make as a doctor whether you want to go into education or not. And if you do want to go into education at any kind of level, it's kind of expected that you will have some form of qualification in teaching. And so I have an interest in education and medical education, and I'm optimistic that once I've completed this course, that will put me in a stronger position to pursue that. And as you touched on, Claire, there is also the PG Cert in education does then allow you to apply for the diploma and subsequently a master's if you wish. And I quite like that cumulative aspect, but you can drop out, you can stop at any stage with a recognisable qualification. So yeah.
Thank you, Sam. That's excellent. And how much tutor support? Because I guess there's probably quite a lot of difference between Megan's course, where you're completely online, and Sam's course, where you've chosen that particular course because you want to do the face-to-face aspects as well. So Megan, how much tutor support is there in your course? Do you feel like you're really well supported? Do you think that it works well in the kind of delivery mode that you have?
We actually have a lot of in-person sessions. This month we're in Cambridge for 4 days. Yeah, it's, I'd say maybe about 4 times a month we're kind of doing labs and things, and then exams as well are also in person. But kind of beyond that, I think we've had a lot of support. And I think we're the first year doing this course with the first cohort, so I think maybe we've needed a little bit extra. There have been a few things that needed smoothing over, so to say. But there's so many people that we can email. Our kind of pre-med admin team are amazing. You can send them an email in the morning and they'll get back to you by the end of the day if there's an issue with like the VLE where all our lecture videos are hosted, or if we just have a question. In terms of like assessments and things, we always have like a formative assessment, so an assessment that isn't marked, for then our summative assessments, so our assessments that go towards our final grade. So we'll have an essay plan we'll submit and get feedback on before we then go to write an essay that we will then be marked for our final grade. And before this call just now, we were just in a lecture, we were actually talking about exams and exam kind of strategies and everything that was going on after we've just come out of our last exams, preparation for our ones we have in July. And I think in terms of support as well, I think something I'd just really like to commend about ICE is their just really amazing student support, like your wellbeing service and disability service. Annie and Zoe and Megan, amazing people, they do so much. And even if you kind of aren't somebody that necessarily thinks, oh, you need disability support or just well-being support in general, they're amazing people to go to for so many things, because it just seems like they have connections everywhere. If you have a problem, you need some help with anything, they're great. So I honestly cannot praise them enough.
That's really great to hear, and I'll make sure to feed that back to the team, because you're right, they're absolutely fantastic. And yes, they can signpost you to everywhere in the university so that you can get the extra bit of support that you need. So yours is blended as well, Megan. I hadn't realised that. Because I think the rest of our undergraduate courses are fully online, but it's great that you've got that blended experience, so you have the labs and things that you can do as well. And Sam, for your course, how much tutor support do you receive? And as Megan's introduced kind of the student wellbeing, the support teams, have you had interactions with them as well? What's the balance of academic support versus kind of pastoral support?
Yeah, so it's been a really unexpected bonus of the course, the tutor system. It's my own fault for not researching the course well enough, but I hadn't realised the extent to which that would occur, and it's been great, both in person, and most of our sessions are in person, but then they're also available for online discussion, kind of when you want. I mean, they're not constantly online, but if you email them, or they'll reply. And one of the things as well is that certainly all the tutors I've come across are very involved in the course as well, so they really know what's going on. I think they're mostly practicing clinicians who are involved in education. Most of them, I think, have done the postgraduate certificate in education. So there's a real sense of relevance to the advice they give. So it's been great, yeah. In terms of welfare, I haven't had much direct contact myself, but we do have a dedicated administrator on our course, Deborah, who's, it's her job to kind of keep us happy, and she's amazing. She's very responsive to queries, and if she doesn't know the answer, which happens only quite rarely, but if she doesn't, she knows who to ask and gets back to you very quickly. So yeah, it really feels like it's not sort of a faceless admin team you're dealing with. There is an individual person who knows what she's talking about and knows us as well, which has been great.
Excellent, thank you. And how would you describe the student community? How has it been? Megan, you did say at the beginning that you were quite nervous about coming in and meeting new people. So how have you found the student community to be?
Really good, I think. Yeah, a lot of our work is online. More of it is kind of online lectures than in person. We have 3 Zooms a week, so we have either case studies or revision sessions. So that's kind of a chance to all sit together and discuss a kind of a clinical style case, something quite similar to what you'd find studying like PBL style medicine, but with extra questions to try and link it back to chemistry or biology a little bit more, kind of at the bottom. And that's an amazing chance to kind of sit and discuss with people, because everyone has such a different background. We've got lots of people who are kind of like healthcare professionals at the moment, like EMTs and HCAs and things, or I think someone's a neonatal nurse, but then we also have like lawyers. So it's a big range. So being able to hear everyone's ideas is great. And my class has like a group chat. So we are constantly talking in there, not always relevant to the course, but it's been a great way to kind of get to know people, talk to each other, and then also get things done, share ideas. So yeah, it's been really nice getting to kind of know such a wide range of people who, like I said before, I don't think I probably would have crossed paths with them had I not done this course.
Excellent. And is that the same with the postgraduate studies, Sam? Is the student community kind of the same, that you interact outside of the classroom as well and keep in touch? How does it work with that one?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the aspects of the course I had the high expectations of was the fellow participants, because I was really hoping to meet a lot of like-minded people who I would be able to bounce ideas off, and also form links with, which would be helpful in the future. And I must say, it's really lived up to that expectation. I mean, almost everybody is a doctor. There's a couple of allied health professionals and a couple of vets, but the vast majority of us are doctors. So it's nothing like the diversity of Megan's course. We don't have lawyers and things. But there's a huge range of doctors in terms of both stage of their careers and also specialties and stuff. But we all have this common link that we're all interested in education, and medical education in particular. And it's been great to hear other people's experiences. And I think one of the best bits has been hearing other people talk about how their teaching has developed over the course of the course, because we're sort of learning how to teach through being taught. And so we're able to then feed back on how sessions have gone. And it's been great to hear people's experiences.
Excellent, thank you. And so just thinking then about workloads, because you've both said they're quite intensive courses, which you would expect with medicine and which you would expect with Cambridge. And Megan, yours is full time, but are you also working? And how many hours do you spend studying, and how do you juggle things around that?
So I'm not working, but I am the eldest of 8, and I'm also a carer for my young sister with multiple learning disabilities and severe kind of support needs. So that's a big thing, and I live at home with all of them at the moment, so you might hear screaming in the background. So that is a factor needing to kind of play into all of it in terms of studying. But in terms of like workload, I would say we have the 3 Zooms that I spoke about before, like the case studies and things. We then have our work split into 3 online. So we have biology, chemistry, and pre-med. So for each of those, we have 2 pre-recorded lectures a week, and each lecture is split into little videos. And so I'd say we probably have between 6 to 8 hours of pre-recorded content a week to kind of do on our own. Little questions at the end, and then the case studies that we need to prepare for beforehand. And then kind of assessments and things, and for labs we'll have pre-reading, we have recommended reading and stuff as well. So I'd say I probably spend about 20 hours a week studying, and it works quite well for me because I can kind of fit my timetable mostly into a typical kind of primary school day. So kind of work from 9 till 3, 5 days a week works quite well in terms of getting things done. It can get a bit tricky sometimes because one of our case studies is in the evenings, so that's at 6 p.m, one of them. So that can be a bit tricky to fit in, but it's manageable. And I think the only other thing on top of that is me and another person from my group run Zoom sessions, like study sessions for everyone. So I think we do like 3 hours a week at the moment, but before our exams, I think I worked it out, we did like 40 hours of group Zoom, which was quite a lot, but it was fun.
Excellent, thank you. So it really does sound like you are juggling a lot in your personal life whilst also taking on a really intensive course. Having those pre-recorded lectures, enabling you to have that flexibility must be really, really important. And it's great to hear that you've also set up revision groups and everything as well. And thank you for coming to this tonight as well when you've got so much going on in your non-study time. So Sam, what about for you? What's the kind of load of study like, especially because you're working full-time as a doctor? That must be quite a juggle as well.
It is. Obviously I have to get permission from my hospital to allow me to do the course. But you know, I think it's recognised that the qualification is highly relevant. So I don't think that's normally a problem. The course is geared up for full-time or practicing practitioners. So we're all working either full-time or less than full-time, but you know, we're all working. So the course, and it recognises that we're trying to do this around full-time jobs. The sessions are whole day sessions, and they occur every 4 weeks or so. Outside of that, there is a reasonable amount of coursework. It's quite open-ended. There's as much reading as you want to do, but there are also assessments which we have to work towards. But again, I think what's done well, because they know that we're all in employment, and in quite a busy employment in most cases, they sort of stage it well through the year. So they tell us early on what's expected, and they kind of give us vague time frames to say, by now you should be doing X and you should be doing Y. And I think, you know, they realize that the days are long gone where I could sort of pull an all-nighter the day before my deadline. You know, that's just not, I've got a family and young children, and I work full-time. It's not possible. I couldn't be a full-time student now. So, you know, the course directors know that, and the course organisers know that, and structure the course in such a way that it's not needed, thankfully.
Excellent, thank you. And just thinking about what you've kind of learned as you've gone through the course, and going back to that question about the expectations that you had before you came on, what kind of advice would you give to a student who might be looking to apply to your particular programme? Is there any kind of tips or things that you would want to pass on, words of wisdom? I'll start with Megan. Thanks.
I think I've got quite a few things. I think it's throw yourself into it. Like pick up everything you can, do just everything, because I'm in a fortunate position where I am an undergraduate student. I've kind of never studied before, so this is my first introduction to university. And whilst you are an ICE student, you are also still a student of the University of Cambridge, so you can do all sorts of things. So freshers and stuff we were welcome to, didn't go because we had lectures all day, but things like that. Blue Sci, it's like the Cambridge University run student like science magazine, like I'm writing articles for them, and so there's all sorts of things you can do. So it's just look and find and make the most of the opportunity. I think the other thing is make friends. And I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but it is so much easier to be able to bounce things off each other, work on essays and things together. I genuinely don't know how I would be like doing this at all without the rest of my class. I don't think it would be possible without, I think, the support and just the understanding of having other people going through the same crazy time as you are. Spending a month revising for 3-hour long exams isn't really something you can share with everyone. So that's quite nice. And I think, and my kind of last piece of advice is kind of like one that I hold quite personally, and that is like ask questions. Like it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter what it's about, just keep asking. If you don't understand, just keep going until you get there. And it doesn't have to be something you don't understand either. It can be whatever random thing about the topic you're kind of studying is, because a lot of the lecturers you will have are impressive people. They are very high up in their field. They've done lots of things in kind of their own right. Pick their brains, ask them whatever it is, preferably related to the topic at hand, but it's really great to just sit and be able to be curious and ask all these questions. And I think sometimes people in the Zooms will look at each other when I've got my hand up and be like, oh God, Megan's asking another random question that the lecturer's not going to know the answer to, and then they're going to try and Google it and it's going to be a whole thing. Yeah, that happens quite often, but I think I've had so many people within the course, and I think my course director, Datina, she has kind of said to me personally, like, don't be afraid to ask the questions, like keep doing it, like keep doing what you're doing, because that's how you learn. Just keep going. And I think if I hadn't kind of had that push from her, I probably wouldn't be as open to asking so much. But no, definitely ask questions and try your best to make friends.
Excellent. That's really good advice. Thank you, Megan. And Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I think similar. It's when you go into it aiming to get as much out of it as you possibly can. And I think that's probably quite general advice for any course you do. You know, there are courses out there. There's teaching courses where you basically can just sit back and cruise, and this isn't one of those. It's expected that you'll get involved. But I think as a result, everybody on the course is engaged and is keen to learn and keen to contribute. And that's what makes the course so incredible, because we're not just all sitting there twiddling our thumbs while people talk on and on and on. You know, we are all constantly asking questions. I mean, I think it's interesting learning about education, because a lot of the techniques are used in the sessions. So are sort of practicing educational styles on each other, which is great fun, and you can sort of see them working and not working in a sort of safe environment. But I think the more I've engaged, the more I've got out of it, and I advise anyone to do the same.
Excellent, thank you. And I think you're both kind of saying the same things but in different words, because part of this is there isn't any point in coming to study if you're not willing to engage and you're not willing to participate. And part of participation is asking those questions, because if you have that question, then probably a lot of other people in the room might have that question. And there's nothing silly about asking the question. It's more silly to sit there and have the question and not ask it. So absolutely. And it's much better for everyone if there's lots of participation and engagement. And it's great to hear that there's a lot of practice-based learning going on as well, which is really important particularly for adult learners as well. So thank you very much, both of you. I really do appreciate you giving up your evening to come along and impart some wisdom and inform our participants about what it's like to be a student at the Institute of Continuing Education. And just to let you know that this will be on our website for people who couldn't join tonight to be able to watch it. So thank you again, and have a good evening.